Hi, Lorri. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Sam?
I'm good. Happy Tuesday and happy to see you this morning. And welcome to episode 12 of the Inventor Smart community, where we have Inventor Spotlight, and you are our 12th episode guest. I'm so happy to have you. Where are you coming in from?
I'm coming in from Montclair, New Jersey.
You're from Jersey. Wonderful.
I'm short term, or I should say short term. I've only been here for about 3 years.
Oh, okay. Okay. And where did you come from before Jersey?
I was in Oregon.
You're in Oregon. All right. For some reason, I thought you were a New Yorker like Brian.
No, just here, just recently on the East Coast, and really quite loving it. I'm just so impressed by the geography and the environment here. It's just more than I expected.
You know what, Lorri? I can already tell you have this great energy and you're going to inspire us with all of your inventions and your creativity. And I can tell already this move has even given you a new life of creativity. Yes?
Yes, it has. I received the patent while I was living here. And so that's where I started to just dig into the whole project a little deeper, right here in the environment around I kind of am in the habit of calling it the Tri-City or Tri-State, because I think of my resources as coming from a larger, circle than just New Jersey, obviously.
That's wonderful. So you're our Inventor Spotlight. And how long have you been inventing, Lorri?
I started this project as my first. I have a couple others coming up in my head, but I started this in 2014.
Oh, so you're a newbie then, like me.
Yeah, it is. Yes. The first one, it's, when we think about the years, it seems like we've been doing it for way long, but it is still just the first one.
Well, there's a big trend in the conversations that we do with Inventor Spotlights and inventors, and that trend is the longevity that it takes to have a project from your mind to a scratch piece of paper to its final product, right? So we'll get into more of that later, but I think that's a trend with all of us. Doesn't matter 2014. It maybe seems like a short time, but I know you've been working really hard on this. So without further ado, tell us about your product and how you came up with the idea. And then I'm just going to sit back and just let you go for a minute because I can't wait for you to tell us what you've got going on.
Okay, so my product is called the CycleSole. And CycleSole is a pull-on flexible shoe cover for cycling shoes that makes it possible for cyclists who are wearing the cleated cycling shoes to walk much more normally while protecting their cleat and protecting the ground beneath them or the floors beneath them. And they can walk much more safely, much more comfortably, so that they can add everyday life activities into their daily rides.
So this is like a slip-on cover that goes over your cleat or your riding shoe?
Yes, over the whole riding shoe. And so it has a front sole and a back sole that accommodate two specific things on the shoe. The first is the cleat under the ball of the foot. So there's a reinforced panel under that area of the foot within the front sole. And in the back sole, the heel is built up a little bit on the inside so that it accommodates that extra material at the front of the shoe. And so rather than walking with your toe above your heel, which is typically what happens with the cleated shoe, your foot is level as though you were standing just on flat ground in a regular shoe.
Presses, do you have one right there that you can show us?
You know what? Right now, I have all my prototypes are out in the field.
Okay.
And so right now, I have a second prototype is out in the field right now, and it is getting some really strong positives and then some really common critiques where it helps me know what to address next.
Okay, so let me back up then. So the stage that we're at now is we're still in prototype, market testing, having people look at it. Have you taken it to cycle shops? Kind of where are you at with all this?
Yes, so I have taken it to cycle shops. I was at the National Bicycle Dealers Association trade show in May, and that was a B2B trade show and attended by lots of people within the cycling industry, including bike shop owners and a variety of other peripheral businesses that support the cycling industry. It received really positive reviews at that time. I also took it to the Bentonville Bike Fest, which was kind of an adjunct activity around the NBDA summit.
Sure.
I was able to get it out in the field with people who were doing a lot of mountain biking activities. It was a really wet, muddy day. And so one of the other advantages of CycleSole is that it protects the cleat from debris accumulating within the cleat, regardless of which style cleat you're using. And so there were a lot of people who, wished that they had one on that day, because people were sitting down having to dig out a lot of stuff out of their cycling cleats. And it was really kind of a mess. So it was a good opportunity to show the one side, especially of the benefits of the shoe cover itself.
So my next obvious question is, you must be a cyclist. And I can say that because clearly I'm not. Okay. So I don't know much about that industry. But I love, again, creative people that find a solution to a problem. And you're tapping in. So how many patents are you holding on your product right now?
Just the one. It's a utility patent that I received in October of 2022.
Very nice. And I like it that it's a utility patent. And how many designs do you think you're going to work with?
I think that I'm going to end up with the final probably within about 6 months, because of the team that is working on it right now. I think we'll advance through some of the necessary, based on input, necessary adjustments and optimizing the material. The material selection for this product is really key, because It requires some elasticity to stretch it on over the shoe as you're standing up and putting it on. So
okay.
It requires so the material selection is going to be probably as big a component of the process as the actual design itself.
Got it. And I love it, again, that you're doing all the right steps, right? You've taken your prototypes, you're taking it into the areas in which people will use this product. You're taking all the feedback. Sometimes, we take a little criticism too, and it's maybe a little hard to swallow sometimes, but at least you're able to make adjustments to what the consumer is looking for, right? I mean, this is just really good stuff. I mean, boots on the ground, this is how you do it. So what are your plans? Do you want to manufacture and market this yourself, or are you looking for licensing opportunities and go in that direction?
So one of the things that I learned enough about to have that nice comparison is through National Inventor Club and talking with Brian Freed about licensing. That was something that I had dismissed early on because I really wanted to own this. And I think that's a common sentiment among a lot of inventors, is that when you're so attached to it at the beginning, you want every part of it to be yours. But then there's a practical side of what is most efficient, what is the most practical, and what is ultimately going to be the best vehicle for getting it to the public and then making some revenue from the product. So I am now starting to think a little bit about how I would license it. Always I had thought about licensing the product in the terms of having cycling clubs, cycling teams be able to have a color-specific CycleSoles for their team. So licensing in that way so that they could make it their own.
Like little private labeling and white labeling and things like that. Yeah. Well, exactly. Of course, we know that, if somebody else took it over and licensed it, I mean, the distribution and the possibilities could be endless with anyone's product of what they can do with it versus what we can do with it ourselves, right? And we hear both ways to do it. Like maybe you should manufacture a couple of thousand yourself to get it out there and get all that feedback and get that energy going where people are sharing it. And then your licensor goes, wow, this is, you've really made some traction here. And, I like where this is going, right?
Yes, and that's the stage that I'm moving into right now, to have a larger run done, but there are some design changes that are required based on feedback from the field. And I'm going through that process now. And so when selecting a manufacturer is kind of difficult. My goal is to have this manufactured in the US. And that is a little bit of a hurdle just because of the particular components of the shoe. It's not really a shoe, so it's not really an item for a shoe manufacturer, but it's also a large injection molded or possibly 3D printed product that we have to just find the resources within the US to do that. And the wider my circle gets, I think I'm getting closer and closer to finding that, US based manufacturer who can take care of this and keep it in the US.
You know what? I'm loving all this because, again, you're talking about, what are some of the challenges that we all face as an inventor, right? So you're looking at manufacturing, sourcing, where you get the material. I salute you to be encouraging to have an American-made manufactured product. But we also know that also comes with some challenges, right? But still, Lorri, the message is one little step at a time, one little phone call, all the serendipities, right? All the connections, being involved in the National Inventor Club. Brian is an incredible resource. Obviously, we have the National Inventor Club meetings. Those are incredible as well. Tons of resources come through that portal every month. The app itself has all these different tabs and resources that you can find. But the key message is just keep going one step at a time, and that will lead you in the direction that you ultimately go into. I mean, don't you believe that as an inventor?
I do. And I'll just take this opportunity, since you kind of gave a little shout out to all of the features of National Inventor Club and the app. I had from the very beginning of this process, I have involved myself with organizations through either state, municipal, or sometimes university-based programs that are put together with a lot of very, very valuable resources and very knowledgeable people. And they really focus a lot on building a business and creating a startup, which is all part of what I'm doing and any inventor does. But a lot of the focus, just by the nature of the people who are engaged, are focused on building a brand around a service, or perhaps putting together new formulations for, like you said earlier, with the I'm drawing a blank on the phrase, but creating a beverage, creating cosmetics, creating housewares that are not really an invention. They're creating something new and a new brand. Right. And that is a very, very different track than people who are inventing something and trying to find a way to get it, optimized on the design, getting it through manufacturing, and then distribution. The distribution is common to the white box, that was the phrase, white box products and an invented product. Services are a whole different ballgame, and the people who are bringing services to the market, are facing different challenges also. But one of the things about the National Inventor Club is that it is for inventors. It is specific to the challenges that we face. It is provides a different array of resources, all of which, from my experience so far with National Inventor Club, have been so valuable. The power that Brian brings to inviting guests and organizations that promote the needs of inventors is just really amazing and generous. And so I have not found that anywhere else. And so I'm really, really glad that I found, this organization.
Wow, you're almost getting me teary-eyed over here because that's so, you just gave us so much. And you're right. There's the SBA, right? The Small Business Development Center, and all these other groups and resources that help you build a business. And I love them. Those are so important to have. But also as an inventor, we're looking at, licensing and manufacturing. Who's having those conversations with us, right? And Brian is finding experts in their field to come into this app in these National Inventor Club meetings to give us this inside information that it's not always accessible, or it gets too noisy out there. And then as a young inventor, and when I say young, I never mean age, right? I was just mean in time, right? Yes. It gets confusing of where to go and who to trust. And I think that hats off to Brian, and I've said this from the moment that we've met, just a reliable, trustworthy source, right? And I think within the community, because we're all inventors, you and I are the same, right? We're working on our product. We don't know how we've come up with this great idea, but yet we have. And we think that the public could be interested into it, and it solves the problem. But where do we go? What do we do? And I think as a community, because we're all inventors, we kind of feed off each other a little bit. I know I've made friendships in this community already, right? And speaking of, we're going to the United States Patent Trademark Office. You're joining us, right?
I am. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yes, Well, it's our second annual, so we went last year, and I keep saying it to other people as well that as an inventor, I never thought I would be able to walk the halls of this incredible building and share it with this community. And again, circling back around, Brian has made this happen for this community and this group. So if you're an inventor and you're out there and you're wondering where to go, Inventor Smart community is a place for you. Anywhere you download your apps, you can find us, or you can find us at inventorsmart.app on the web. We're everywhere. Final thoughts, Lorri. So what do you think's next? We're doing this, market research. We're kind of doing some new redesign. We're looking at licensing. Obviously, you're joining us in a couple of weeks for the Inventor a day at the Patent and Trademark Office. So where do you see yourself? What's happening?
So right now, I've had the opportunity, again, a serendipitous occurrence, which I can track back through the last 5 or 6 years. And there are so many of those. But through an organization that I participated in an Entrepreneurs Ignite program at Montclair State University.
Okay.
And that was from start to finish, ideation, all the way through launch. It was an absolutely excellent program at Montclair State. And so when I was working on that program, I had a couple of SCORE mentors, one of whom was also a professor at another well-renowned local institution, the Stevens Institute of Technology. And through that program, I was able to connect with the mechanical engineering department. So CycleSole has been adopted by the senior class of Stevens Institute of Technology as their senior project. Yes, so the design, yes, it's such a gift. Yes. And so these young minds with these latest resources are looking at the design change requirements that we have in mind, adding some new information and some new direction to that, and then also looking at some materials. So with that program, my process is a little bit delayed because I want to take advantage of that opportunity. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit delayed. So right now we're working on that. In the beginning of next semester, we'll have gotten closer to that final design, and then I can start looking more closely with specifics to a manufacturer and to materials. And so that has been one of those things that you just kind of happen to meet a person, and then this chain goes along. And here I have this opportunity that is just a real gift.
Yeah. Let me jump in. Even though, we say, oh, we're delayed, really, are we? Because the timing kind of, if we accept all the timing for what it is, like all the serendipities, I call them bridges of incidences. You meet this person and then it goes to this and it goes to this, so sometimes physically as inventors, we're in a rush, we're in a hurry, we want to go, we want to see. But if we really sit back and go, you know what? The timing on all of this is perfect. I believe if we keep doing our little, I hate to sound cliche, but little baby steps, just keep moving step after step. It all does come together. And I think you're a great example of this part of the journey of inventions where you're at, right? You're not completely there, but you're on the path. You're making all the right steps, the changes. You're listening to the market. You're listening to your consumer. You're sourcing out your product. And this is going to be fun, Lorri, that we get to circle back around in a couple 6 months, right? And then you'll update us and share where you're at that time. I love it that you're a member of our community. I'm so glad that you found us and that you just jumped right in, and here you are on the spotlight.
Yeah, well, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to do this. When we first mentioned it, I thought, oh yeah, I could do that. That would be really nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, because anytime that we all know that if we hear someone else sharing experiences, ups and downs, especially the downs, with others, we know that when we're experiencing those things, we're not alone. And that is one of the biggest things about this journey, is to be able to make connections and keep connections with people who can understand it and who can sympathize and then offer the support you need. And this is just, all of that for me.
Yeah, yeah. Well said. Well said. Again, back to this community. And we know there's a lot of agencies and companies out there that offer services to inventors. And we're really not offering services here. We're offering a community. We're offering conversations. We're offering support. And, you know, that's what I think I love about it the most. I've learned a lot myself, and I'm continuously learning about new ways to invent product. I'm a serial inventor. I'm just, you know, my mind explodes all the time with new ideas and new product ideas. And I'm so glad that I have a platform where I can come and be comfortable with a lot of other crazy inventors as well. So, you know, I'm relish in it. Like, let's go.
Yeah, well, you and the whole team are, you know, the enthusiasm and the support that just kind of oozes out of you is just really great. I love it.
We're just trying to have a good time and keep it all in perspective and, you know, work hard. And we celebrate each other's successes as well. You know, hey, I'm trying to catch up with Brian and all the patents that he's holding and all the stuff that this guy's got going on. So I'm just happy to be a part of it all. And I'm so glad that you are as well. So is there anything else that you would like to add for us? Say any words of really some great advice. I mean, you've already said some really wonderful things. Anything you want to leave us with, just any encouraging to any other new inventors out here listening?
I would say just keep track of every person that you run into and meet. Make a little note, even if it's on a piece of paper of a calendar of the date that you met them, because you never know if you'll be able to connect someone else to them who, you know, would be a great matchup for something that either one of them needs or for yourself. And you always have to remember to look back and then look forward from the people that you meet and people who are coming your way.
Wow, that is really, I want to hear that again. Okay, hold on. Let me think about that for a second. Because I think we've been taught over the years, we used to collect business cards, right?
Mm-hmm,
Right. So, and I used to have just like this Rolodex of all these business cards. But I think you know, and then that kind of faded out, didn't it? We'd toss them away, they'd get lost in the desk or whatever. So I think you're reminding us maybe to take a calendar and write down the name of that person, the day that you met them, maybe even what they're connected to, maybe take that extra step. You know, I like what you just said there. I think we're forgetting of what these connections can bring. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah, and for our own use, and then also to be able to share with someone else. That's what makes you feel really good, is when you think, hey, I think I have a solution for you in this person or this organization. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And, you know, I'm a note taker, but I tend to have many little notebooks, right? So to kind of have to go back and find things again. I know I'm speaking to my audience here. I know how our brains work. But I like the idea that you just said, kind of grab a calendar, maybe your meet and greet calendar, maybe you can call it that or something. But I think there's some sauce there. I like that. Thanks for sharing that.
Even online, just make a note on your your online calendar box, you know, for the date. And because, you know, most of us have our events and our meetings on our calendar, and that helps you kind of remember, because when we have a lot of stuff in our heads, we don't always remember what we need to remember. Exactly.
So speaking of, if you are a member of this community already, or if you're thinking about joining and becoming a member, there's tons of networking and tons of events within the app. So speaking of calendar, Andy added a feature that I'm still bragging about. I love it so much. All you have to do is click add to calendar, click add to calendar. You can go down all the events. Helps us remember what we want to attend, what we want to watch, or what we can go back to later. If that's another thing we love about this app, is all this content is reserved on the app. So if you don't have time or you missed a meeting, you can always circle back around and come check us out. All right.
Yeah, that is a great feature. I love it.
Yeah, me too. All right, Lorri, you are our spotlight for episode 12 in the Inventor Smart community. And I can't wait for us to meet in person in just a couple of weeks. Yep. And looking forward to celebrating with you and walking those halls of the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Can you believe it? As inventors, we get to be there.
It'll be great. I'm looking so forward to it.
I know. I can't wait. Have you and Brian met in person?
We have not. So I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you in person.
Yeah, this will be the first time. All right. So I think that's a wrap for today, and looking forward to seeing you and hearing more about CycleSole and whether you manufacture or you license. So more will be revealed as we step forward.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Samantha. This has been great.
All right. Good, Lorri. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Okay, great.
For For riding where time is money and you have to carry on, even the hop-on, hop-off experts could use an easy-on, easy-off solution to the problems of clips where they aren't safe or welcome. Slippery floors and no clip policies don't have to slow you down. Link Gear's CycleSole is the easy-on, easy-off solution to linking you to the next stop on your ride. No more damaged cleats, no more falls, no more clip walk. CycleSole is the missing link between your ride and the rest of your life.